Good morning. Again, exciting to be here. I would like to start with 2 stories. After that, study a little bit in Hebrews 12. In Spanish ago, recently, this last week, there was a man that died. They buried him on Friday. It was not a funeral, but I heard about it. There was a man who grew up in Spanish Valley. He was around 58 when he died. He had cancer. He died and he was buried. That man, when he was young, his growing up years, he experienced bullying. He experienced other boys, they thought he was one time, this boy, it was on a Sunday afternoon, he was with the other boys. Boys, what did they do? They found eggs. He did. He went home and he felt never again. He experienced at school, the other boys, they were blaming him. But the other boys were blaming him. The teacher didn't know, so he scolded him. So in his life, often he felt alone. His life, for years, he was not a Christian. I do not really know, but I think it's possible. Well, I heard some of it. Sometimes he felt like blaming the other people. Me, his dad, he did not have a very close relationship. Later on, he got married. I think he had 1 daughter. Married for about, I don't know, 7, 8 years maybe. His wife left him. That was his life. Not recently, I don't know, 6 months ago, but recently. He became a Christian. When he saw he would probably die, he changed his life. One time, he was already, before he would sometimes complain, he was changed. One time, he was already sick. He was lying in bed with pain. Another person would come to visit, and they heard he was singing, praising God. He recently, I don't know, maybe a few weeks or a month before he died, he said, He would want other people to know. Each one is responsible for your own problems. He stopped blaming the others. He accepted. It was true. His past had been hard. Other people, they wronged him. But recently, just before he died, he had told one of his friends that he would want to tell other people, your problems are your own, not blame others. So that's one story. His life was hard, but he stopped blaming and he accepted. First, you have become better. Okay, second story. Let's put that one aside now. Second story. A missionary. He was from England. The church sent him to Africa, to a poor village, to help and to teach the gospel. So, he was a missionary with his wife. They didn't have children. The two of them, they moved in the jungle close to that village. As they were there, they were trying, those poor people, they were trying to teach them the right way. But that village, those people, they hated them. So here, this couple, well, just the two of them, didn't have friends. They had other mission stations in other areas, but here, they were by themselves. The village, the chief, and they couldn't teach them. There was one little boy. I don't know if every day, but sometimes that one boy, he would come out. He was a young boy. He would come out and visit them. So they would teach. That boy, he was a kid. They would teach him about Jesus. He would go back to his family. 3 days, they would teach him. But they felt of nothing. As time went on, the wife, they had a baby. But mother died. Baby was fine. It was a girl. The mother died. So here was the missionary all by himself. One little baby. The village didn't support him. Other places were far away. Traveling was hard. All by himself. He buried his wife and he had his baby. So what could he do? His daughter, he brought her to other missionaries. He couldn't take care of her. This girl brought her to other missionaries. Those missionaries, other people from the States, they came, adopted this girl. This man, he felt his life, it just was a waste. What did he do? Well, I don't know if he flew, but he traveled. I don't know how, but he went back to England, and his life, he became angry at God. He became bitter. He threw away all the Christianity. He just threw it away. Bitter, and he lived a hard life. Angry at God. God, what happened to her? This girl. I already told you, she was adopted to America. You know that. America, England, they're far apart. This girl, she grew up in America, but I guess somebody told her what happened, so all her life she was wondering about her dad. She was wondering, where is my dad? When she was big, she decided to travel to England to look for her dad. So she traveled there and she looked. Couldn't find him. One night, she hadn't found him yet. One night, there was a tent meeting, a revival meeting. She sat down to listen to the message. When she saw the preacher, it was a black preacher from Africa. This preacher started preaching, and he told them a story. This preacher, he told them, me, when I was a little boy, in my village in Africa, there was a missionary couple. The wife died, there was a girl, the man left. Later, and they, in the past, they taught me when I was a kid. Later, I became a Christian. I started preaching. Now, he said, there's, I don't know, it was 45 churches. This girl, she knew the story. Later, the service was done. She met him. We talked. She left. She continued looking for her dad. Finally, she found him there in the hospital. He was close to death. She found him. She talked with him. She was trying to tell him to repent. He was saying, help, nothing. My life, I was trying to help. Wife died, helped, nothing. You become bitter. Girl told him a story about the missionary or the preacher. Became soft and he changed. Soon after that, he died. So we see those two men were suffering. They became better. Both of them. Before they died, God allowed them to change. Today, we don't know if God will allow us that time. So it's better right now. Bitterness, put it aside. Hebrews 12. This first part here, it says we are surrounded by people. That means the chapter before that talks about all those list of people that were faithful. There was Abraham, Noah, Isaac, and there's a list of them. So in the Bible, all those, they show us about faith. So now, let us run the race that is before us and never give up. We should remove from our lives anything that would get in the way and the sin that's easily hold us back. We today, we think sometimes it's hard, and it's true. Here on this earth, we're experiencing hard things. But look only to Jesus. He began our faith. He makes perfect. He suffered death on the cross. Accepted shame. The other people, he accepted it. Here it says, because he saw joy before him. Think about Jesus' example. It says, I think those words, they mean, he held on. He held on. Wicked people heard him. So, we do not want to become tired and stop trying. We want to keep on. You're struggling. Temptations, you're struggling. But your struggles have not caused you to be killed. We know stories in the past about Christians that gave up their life because they did not want to yield to temptations. In the Bible, we have the story about Stephen. That's one of them. Stephen, we know that he was preaching, they caught him, and they questioned him, they were trying to tell him to stop, he did not stop. They took him, stoned him. Here's another story, and I think is a clear example. I know that I have used that example in the past, but that's alright. There was this little boy. He was responsible every day. Mom and Dad to help him every day. He was responsible. They had a cow, and he was responsible to go every day. Cow, go and look for it, bring it home. He did. His parents, they taught him to leave sinning. They taught him not to steal, not to lie. He would go, bring the cow home. Tomorrow, we did it again. One day, as he was going, here, some bad boys. The boys, they're waiting on the roadside. Here, apple garden. These bad boys, they wanted some of those apples. They had an idea. They will not go and steal them themselves. They will force him to go and steal them. So they go and steal those apples. This boy, no. Stealing, wrong. I will not. Those boys, they're trying to force him. He said, no, I will not steal. So these bad boys, there's some water. They took him. You ready now? No, not. So again, a little longer. You ready now? No. You strong. Again. You died. Mom and Dad. Found him. You're struggling, and you have the experience being killed yet. Yes, this is kind of a key word that I was thinking. Hebrews 12 verse 5. First part talks about being encouraged. We are His children. But let us not think the Lord, it's not for the okay. If the Lord disciplines us, we do not want to stop trying, and He corrects us. Somebody use that word, other translations use this word, think, it's the same meaning. So, I guess I will explain what I think the word means. I studied some in a dictionary. I think can mean this. We all know that, right? I think it can. It can mean this. Parents, children, they're teaching them. It can also mean training, practicing, discipline. This man, his name is Larry. When he was 72 years old, in his life, he had been running an marathon a lot. When he was 72 years old, 2,000 times he had been running in a race. So he was disciplined. Disciplining himself. He was training, practicing, discipline. Sometimes you probably have liked sit and relax, but he's running again. Or it could also mean by myself, my own disciplining. Maybe it's a funny example, but I need to practice myself. I have a little bit of problem with being too heavy. So sometimes I want to eat more, I need to eat. It's a discipline. Or another one. We need discipline. In Hebrews 12, it talks about God's discipline. The Lord disciplines the dog. punishes, he is accepted as his children. Now, you need to be careful. Be easy we can. Example. We see a person, his life is not right. He's doing wrong. And then next week, we see he has an accident. And we think, aha, God is punishing for wrong. Be careful how we think about that. But for our own lives, we need to accept God patiently. He's reminding. Sometimes maybe the conscience in ourselves is a discipline. Yeah, I don't know if I perfectly understand, not perfectly understand exactly the meaning of the Lord disciplining, but I think if we are Christians and we want to follow Him, it will be easier to accept the wrong God is patiently teaching us. What do you think? What would I do if my son, he likes running? If I would see him running and I knew right here was a cliff, and I would see, and I would stop him and he would become mad, what would I do? Would I let him run? I don't think so. I'd still try to stop him because I love him and not want him to be hurt. God also sometimes is allowing things to happen because He loves you. He wants you to change. Verse 7. Hold on to your sufferings. God is treating you as children. Here it says, all children are disciplined by their fathers. Okay, in Acts, verse 8 and 9, we skipped them. There it talks about how here on earth, fathers discipline their children. And then in verse 10, it's just the last part of verse 10. God disciplines us to help us. God does not discipline us because He hates us. God disciplines because He wants to help us. Why? He wants us to become holy as He is. We did not enjoy it. We did not enjoy it. It's painful. But later, after we have learned, we have peace because we started living. I remember when I was young, sometimes I had done wrong and I felt I did not enjoy it. Later, it's done. And I had learned. I remember I felt peaceful. I could enjoy it then. Verse 12. Therefore, strengthen the hands which hang down and feeble knees. If you have become tired, remember, not copy or this other man. Verse 15, I will skip a few verses again. Verse 15. And not bitter root grows. God's trouble and defile man. This missionary, he had allowed bitter root. Yeah, no, it wasn't hard. And I know some of you probably experience worse. I haven't experienced some of the things that you experience. A little encouragement. Jesus' blood will defeat. One more thought. Sometimes we think one example. There was a man who was living at a place and he was having problems. The neighbors, they were just bothering him and he was done with it. So he decided he would move to a new place, a better place. So he went looking. Alright, he saw this village, it was peaceful. So he asked, man, here, neighbors, are they friendly? Are they good here? This man here asked him, your neighbors out there, how are they? Friendly? No, he said, they're bad, they're awful. This man, he said, same here. The problem was not the neighbors. The problem was himself. Sometimes we think, yeah, my place right now, I don't like it. I will find another place. It might be for a short time, but if we do not change our hearts, soon, this man, if he would move, maybe, could be, for 1 or 2 months, it would have been fine. But if one neighbor's dogs had bothered him, trouble will start. So he himself, he was bitter. So sometimes it can happen that we need to make a change. That's not my point. My point is, first needs to be out. Sometimes it can happen that if we're at a place and it's too much temptations, it's right to move. Now, the encouragement. With this blood, Romans 8, verse 35. Can anything separate us from God? Can troubles or hunger or nakedness or danger or violent death, those things, can they, all those problems, can they separate us from God? The next verse, no, it's not the next one, it's verse 37. Romans 8, verse 37. All those things. All those things. We are completely victorious with God. Showed His love. Yes, I am sure. Death, life, angels, spirits, nothing now, nothing in the future, no powers, nothing above us, nothing below us, nothing in this world will separate us from God. If we can come. Recently I was having a message about God. If we're connected to God, He will not always, if we get separated, it's ourselves, not Him. First Corinthians 15, verse 54 and 55. Death is destroyed forever in victory. Death, this word we could also say death. Satan, where is your victory? How? Where is your hand? Jesus? One last verse is an encouragement. Isaiah 3 verse 4. Jesus took our suffering. Our suffering, He felt it. Our pain, He felt it. The encouragement. If we're tired, like this one verse, your hands now are that's my prayer. Yes, thank you. You defeated death. Pray that you help us. Bitterness inside. We're experiencing hard things, but help us all to accept, to bring it to you. Pray, bless from here, to home, this next week. You fill our minds, fill our hearts. If there is some here, there is courage to pray that we touch them. We could help each other. Thank you.